I'm very privileged to be joined by Councillor Anthony Stevens, who was persecuted for his faith, not only by the police, but by his own party. Councillor Stevens, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me on, Father Robinson. It's a tough act to follow after the last segment you just did.
Well, I mean, I talk about intolerance growing every week in the West towards Christians, but here we're seeing people are being persecuted. So for people who aren't familiar with your story, and this one caught me off guard actually because it was so out there, I was like, wait, the police said what to who? What is the background? Where did this all begin for you?
Well, we've pieced it together as best we can. I supported a good friend and colleague, Councillor King Llewell. I think you know King's story. I won't do a full background, but he tweeted a tweet about his faith. It broke on the Thursday. On the Friday morning, he came round to my house, distraught. The attack was on. He was made to leave his business and loads of other things that he was doing in the community. And I supported King. But we believe because of my support through King through Twitter, now X, I'm a Conservative councillor, or was a Conservative councillor. The opposition found my support of King, went through my tweets, found some tweets that they deemed to be hateful for whatever reason, went to the police. I knew nothing about this, obviously, until 8 o'clock in the morning. 2 police officers turn up at my house, asked me who I am. I said, well, I'm Anthony. I was just gone into my gym to start training. I came out, I said, well, I'm Anthony Stevens. I thought something had happened to one of my vehicles or something had gone on. And they said, we're arresting you for Section 19. I said, I don't know what Section 19 is. Can you explain? And they said, it's a public order offence. And I said, well, I don't really go out. I can't have done. This must be a mistake. It can't be. And they said it's to do with social media. At that point, I sort of thought, oh, okay, I said something, some gender critical. I believe in male and female sex. Someone's got the wrong end. I thought, okay. I said, so what did we do? They said, oh, we're arresting you. We're taking you to the police station. So, okay, can I go and speak to my family? My wife came down. She was obviously panicking. They then said, you got your mobile? And I said, well, yes. And they said, can we have it, please? And then they took it. At that point, my 12-year-old daughter came down, and then she started to cry. What's going on? The police were searching me at this point. Took my wallet and my keys, because I took everything thinking I need to have some stuff. They took everything off me. Well, my daughter started crying. That was the point that it got to me at that point, because I'm a father I'm meant to protect my children. I'm not meant to make my children cry, and I'd made my child cry. These people turning up. We teach our children that only bad people get arrested. The police are to protect you, only bad people. So now my daughter's looking at me. The police are arresting Daddy.
Yeah.
I started getting a little bit cross at that point. Luckily, my wife said to me, Anthony, because we've been together a long time. She read the signals. She said, Anthony, calm down. And then I look at my little girl. Okay, so fine, let's go. This is around 8 o'clock. By the time I'm through and processed, they then take fingerprints, mugshots, DNA into the cell.
So,
okay, calm down. In the cell. Around 12 o'clock, they take me out to interview. In the interview, they said, I said, I don't understand what's going on. What was there any need for this? Yes, incitement to racial hatred. Well, at that point, you just pure shock.
Of course.
No racist. There's no. I think my actual statement was, I'm no racist. There's no way. This is a mistake.
Who did they think you were racist against?
Well, this is where we get to. So they don't tell me anything at that point. So then they asked me if I knew 2 people. One was a fellow councillor who I classed not as much as you can with another councillor, especially as the opposition, as a friend. We'd done some things together, trying to get a sports initiative together. We'd met a couple of times outside of the council to try to get this going. He'd actually told me I was in the wrong party a couple of times. That was the sort of relationship. I said I knew one, didn't know the other. I won't name them, Calvin. I don't think it's right. There's actions going on at the moment.
Sure.
They then said, then they showed me some papers. I didn't have my glasses. I'd already said I can't read them. I don't have my glasses. The first one was, this is a tweet you've done, and there was a picture of the Christian preacher who I now know, it was years ago, I didn't know at the time of tweeting it, had been arrested by the police for street preaching. Yep. And someone had posted a video of him being arrested, and then a video of the police watching a Islamic preacher preach and not arrested. So I tweeted the Prime Minister, is this fair and a just society that you keep going on about? So at this point, I'm thinking, well, where's racial hatred there? Right? The Christian preacher's a black man for a start, so right. I can't see what are you trying to get at? Well, what did you mean by it? I said I meant that we should all be treated the same. I'm a big believer in. I don't believe in EDI. I believe we are all treated. We're all here, and we should all have the same protections and the same ability to be. So if you're allowed to preach, and I believe everyone should be, then everyone should be.
Equality under the law.
They then asked me, did you know this was tweeted, because it was a retweet from me, by Britain's First? And I said, no, I didn't, and so I didn't know who they was. I really didn't. Right, I now know. I said, but I didn't know. They actually asked Andrea, someone. I said, who's she? And they said it's a he. And I went, well, there you go. So then that was put aside. The second tweet, and this is when I realised what this was really, or I believe what it was, my petition supporting Councillor Lawal. Well, as we know, Councillor Lawal is a Nigerian descent man. So there's no racial, so incitement to racial hatred, where's that? And they then said, did you know what he posted? You've supported his petition. And I said, yes. And they said, did you know what he posted? I said, well, of course, he's a friend of mine. Well, do you think it's right he should post that? And I said, it doesn't matter whether I believe what he said is right or wrong. I believe in a person's right for freedom of speech. He was speaking from his faith, and I'm a free speech absolutist. I believe everyone should be allowed to say and do what they like. Where I draw the line is when you personally attack someone with your speech. That's where I believe that the crime should begin. They went on that for a bit, but I was not for changing. That's my belief structure. I don't believe I've done anything wrong. I don't believe Councillor Hall has done anything wrong. The third tweet, you could say it was a bit contentious. And again, it was a retweet. A guy had tweeted a picture of the burning Quran and said if he wanted to burn it, he could. And I said, yes, you could. What I was meaning by this, and it needs to be put into context, is it was all at the time when the young autistic boy had been arrested for dropping the Quran. And then his mother had been made to go to the mosque because of fear that he would have got death threats. Yeah. My point is, we do not have blasphemy laws. Now, I love books. I've actually got a very good Muslim friend, and he sent me a copy of the Quran because I like knowledge. And I would never burn a book personally because I absolutely love books. I think they're the one of the cornerstones of society. But someone's religion, whatever religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, should not be forced on another person. If you're not of that religion, then it is just a book. This is what I said to the police when they said, well, I said, but it's just a book. And their actual words was, just a book. And I said, well, to me, it's just a book because I'm not of the Islamic faith.
Right.
So that's pretty much the basis of what I was arrested. They arrested me on incitement to racial hatred. After explaining that to you, Calvin, can you see where the racial hatred is?
Absolutely. You sound very racist to me. You're standing up for two black men. It's just ridiculous. The problem I have with, I mean, I have many problems with this. The first problem is the time that they come to arrest you or to ask you to come to the station. They do it at an unreasonable hour to make a point, making a show in front of your wife and child, which is unfair. Not telling you properly what they're accusing you of. This idea that you could be committing a crime but not told what that crime is, just to say racial incitement. Yeah, in what way? To who? How? When? Where? And then when they do get to the nitty-gritty detail, to not understand the context of if you're asking for equality under the law and you're pointing out why is this set of people treated this way and this set of people treated a different way, that's not, there's no racial incitement there at all. And the point of Britain First, I've got a lot of time for Britain First. There are a lot of good people in Britain First fighting a lot of good fights. This idea that because they're putting their nation first somehow makes them racist or something, I think is abhorrent on the police's part. But what this all comes down to is you having a set of views or even supporting someone with a set of views that is against what the mainstream approved narrative thinks is appropriate. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how, Councillor King Lawal's views are Christian views, which are the normative views of this Christian country. So they shouldn't be seen as extreme in any way, shape, or form. But even if they were, you were just supporting his right to have views different to your own, or even same to your own. It doesn't matter. And so what I'm interested in next is what was the pressure that the police put on your party?
So what happened? And obviously, I only find all this out. So the party at the point then get complaints about me. Where they come from, I'm never told. So then the party go into full protection mode, and I'm under investigation. They find me to suspend. Then they find me guilty. They didn't say what I'm guilty of, just of tweeting, basically, on social media. The Conservative Party do not like you being on social media. I need to give a bit of backstory as well. I wasn't really on social media until I was seriously ill for a while. I nearly died of COVID in hospital. I was sedated for 30 days. So I come out of hospital, I'm in the bed downstairs. There's only so much TV you can stomach. And so I started going on Twitter and reading it, and then you start. And to be honest, Andrew Doyle has got a lot to answer for Mike, because I started watching Free Speech Nation. I then started understanding about this whole woke agenda, and so you start learning. Before that, I was a businessman, busy at work, raising my family. I didn't have time for it. So then I started to see it, and then you start to realise some of this isn't right. We are entering into a tier society. So anyway, so the Conservatives, sorry, I'll try to get back on track. The Conservatives then suspend me with appeal to suspension.
Right.
The police then kept my phone for 3 months because they wanted to search my phone, because they obviously thought they had this raging racist. They thought I was this, and I had members of my family scared, saying, "But what if they find something?"
Councillor Stephen, I've got to ask you though: the police that you were talking to, were they reasonable, or did you think that they actually?
No, they
thought you were racist?
100%. She thought I was.
From those 3 tweets, I mean, come on, it's a joke. It's an absolute.
It was. They came back on the King Lawal at the end as well. Well, why do you support him? It was. The left.
And for our viewers, let me just say, King Lawal was exonerated and reinstated, so he did nothing wrong.
Yes. I'm suspended for 12 months, which we've appealed. But to be resubmitted in the party, I have to be re-educated at my own cost. Now,
1984.
It's very hard to re-educate a guy that isn't that educated in the first place, so they'd have trouble there. And I don't need re-educating. I'm happy within my belief structure. I'm happy with the man I've become. I've learned a lot of lessons along the way in my life. There was, as a younger man, I wasn't so happy with that guy. But so I won't do it.
Let me get this right. The Conservative Party have said if you want to come back as a Conservative councillor, they have to re-educate you.
Well, they didn't. They called it going on an EDI course, but we all know that's re-education. Yeah, that's my my take on it. Social media training and EDI training. I don't believe I need the Twitter. My Twitter page had nothing to do with me being a councillor. I never once mentioned being a councillor. I called it the rant. I
But
used
it
to
doesn't
do a
matter because
Sunday.
your views sound conservative. So if anyone needs retraining, it's the Conservative Party. They need some re-education.
Well, I totally agree, sir. Yeah,
EDI is Marxism. It has no place in the Conservative Party.
Yeah, well, so basically, then within, luckily and very luckily for me, the Christian Concern and the Christian Religious Centre, through King, he came round. I was arrested on the Tuesday. Wednesday afternoon, he come to see me. He apologised actually, and he said, "Oh, yeah," I went, "Don't listen. Let's." Because I rang him as I left the police station on my wife's phone, and I said I was worried for him. I said, "Watch yourself, King." I got the impression in the interview this was all about King. I can't really explain it to you unless I read the whole interview, but if you listen to the interview, you'd understand.
I can't completely
The take I got was, how can you support such a man?
Just for a bit of context for our viewers who haven't seen it, because I've had Councillor King on the show, I think both on this platform and on the last platform on TV, and he essentially replied to one of my tweets, and he put something like "pride is a sin," something very, very simple like that. When there was a big pride protest going on and people were celebrating one of the 7 deadly sins, he said, "Why are they celebrating a sin?" That it was very simple like that, but they came for him. Everyone came for him on that. Thank you for watching my Common Sense Crusade. If you'd like to watch the whole show, you can subscribe to lotuseaters.com for as little as £5 per month, and then you get access to a bank of content as well. My show is 3 p.m. every Thursday. See you there. Deus Vult.